light bulb help you sleep? If you search Amazon, you'll find a handful of products claiming to help you do just that. Diving into the product pages, you'll find that most of them talk about blue light, and they say they'll either reduce or completely eliminate sleep-disturbing blue light. I tested 5 of the most popular products in the category to see if they live up to their sleep-promoting claims. I want to be transparent that I purchased these with my own money, but I do make and manufacture one of these products myself. However, I will be completely objective in this review. Also, there will be a giveaway in this video, so pay close attention. So what's the deal with these light bulbs? How can a light bulb claim to promote quality sleep? I've been studying the issue of light and health for the past 9 years, and here are some of the most important things that you should know. The first is that our bodies have a process called the circadian rhythm. Some people call this the body clock. And the circadian rhythm plays a number of really important roles in the body, but one of the most prominent that you should know is that the circadian rhythm tells us when to wake up in the morning and when to fall back asleep at night. Now, the circadian rhythm basically runs on its own, but it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It takes inputs from a number of different cues. And one of the most prominent cues happens to be light in the environment. Now, here's how that works. Our eyes have sensors called the rods and cones, which you may remember from science class. But it turns out there's actually another set of sensors in the eyes called the IPRGCs. Now, in this case, the IPRGCs aren't directly used for vision. Instead, they're used to provide an input to the circadian rhythm. So the IPRGCs exist in the eye, and they provide a direct wired input to the circadian rhythm, which is located in the center of the brain. Now, the IPRGCs are only sensitive to blue and green light. And here's why that's important. So, in the past, we had bright, intense sunlight in the middle of the day, and at nighttime we had basically no input of blue and green light. The only sources of light at night before the modern era were fire and moonlight, and these were so dim and they really didn't even have that much blue light in them to begin with. But over the past 100 years or so, we've added electric lighting, TVs, computers, and today, phones and tablets, to the point where we can basically be surrounded by bright blue and green light at all hours of the night. And the issue with that is that we're telling our circadian rhythm that it is daytime, even when it's actually nighttime. And then what's happening with the circadian rhythm is it's actually adjusting our sleep cycles, the length of them, so we might not dip into some of the deepest levels of sleep. And this is a real problem because it can cause accidents, fatigue, mistakes in the short term, and chronic sleep disruption due to circadian rhythm disruption is implicated in things like diabetes, obesity, and even cancer. So what these light bulbs are claiming to do is reduce the amount of blue and also sometimes green light to promote quality sleep in comparison to regular electric lighting. So if you use one of these instead of an electric light bulb, you can still do normal nighttime modern things, but you're not going to get as much of that blue or green light input. Now, one of the things we're going to do in this review is actually test to see if these light bulbs are really reducing blue light that much compared to a regular light source. So stay tuned to find out how well each one of these does. So each one of these light sources is meant to be used in the evening before you go to bed. Now you can use these light bulbs while you're sleeping, but that's not really the intended purpose as a night light. I'd only say that you should use these light bulbs while you're sleeping if you're someone who cannot sleep with the lights off. And you should try dimmer light sources like a night light first before trying these brighter light bulbs, because these are not night lights. They're light bulbs that you're supposed to use before you go to sleep that make it so that you can do normal people things but have less of that circadian input that's damaging to sleep. So I measured each of these products. I actually used each one of these in the evening to see if they lived up to their claims, if they were kind of weird to use, or if they had like a normal quality of light to them, and would I keep using them. I also used a device called a spectrophotometer to measure each light source. So what the spectrophotometer does is it actually measures the relative quantity of each color of light. So how much blue light, how much green light, how much red light is the light bulb producing. And this can tell us a number of really important things about the color quality of the light. So a light with a higher color quality, a light that's more white than shifted, is more likely to be used because it has this nice quality of light versus something that might be a little bit too orange or a little bit too green. So not only can you see this sometimes, but you can actually get the ground truth measurement from this type of device. The second thing that this thing helps us do is it determines how much blue and green light that we're actually getting out of this thing. So, is the light bulb producing a lot of blue and green light, which means that the manufacturer was kind of lying about what the light bulb does, or is it reducing the amount of blue or green? The third thing that this device lets us do that's really important for a healthy light bulb is it measures flicker. Flicker is a rapid flashing of lighting that we usually can't see it because it's like just a little bit too fast for us to see, but we are still picking it up. There's actually still a biological effect where a number of people are affected by headaches, eye strain, and a loss in concentration just because the light bulb is actually flashing rapidly. So, a good healthy light source should also be one that's not only low in blue and green light, but it also has a relatively low amount of flicker, so it's not causing the headaches and eye strain. So I came up with this rubric, and it measures 4 categories on a scale of 1 to 10 each. So that means that the total possible score that a light bulb could have is as high as 40 points, and the worst light bulb would have a score of only 4 points. And here are the categories. The first one is appearance. So the appearance takes into account, what does the thing look like to me? Is it the right brightness? Is it the right color of the light? And then it also is the color quality metrics of the light source. And appearance also lends itself to how well you're going to continue using this thing over time. Is it impractical to use or is it practical? The second category that may be obvious in this test is the sleep promotion of the light source. So how much blue and green light is this thing actually producing? The third category is flicker. Is the light flashing and causing headaches and eye strain, potentially? And then the fourth one is value. And value takes into account a number of factors. So I went on Amazon and looked at the reviews of each of the products. Were people liking it? Were they having issues with reliability after a few months or a few years? Does the product have a pretty long lifespan? Does the manufacturer honor their warranty, or are they just, leaving people out cold? Is the price okay for what you're getting and the value that it's going to provide? Is the manufacturer honest in its marketing? So all of these factors play into the value metric. So again, the 4 metrics are appearance, sleep promotion, flicker, and value. So of those, each one 1 to 10 points, and then we add them up to 40 points total. Now, I do want to mention that these are all LED light bulbs, so they all consume only a few watts of power, and barring any reliability issues, they should last at least a couple years. So I'm not even comparing these light bulbs on their energy consumption and their lifespan. The first light source I want to talk about is Soraa Healthy. This is a light bulb from a pretty cool company called Soraa, and what's really unique about this product is they're doing something very interesting with the spectrum of the lighting, where it actually claims to have 0 blue. And how they're doing that, if you look on the marketing materials on their website, is compared to a regular light bulb that would normally have lighting starting from around blue and then going through the rest of the colors with a relatively high peak at blue. The Soraa Healthy is different, where the spectrum actually starts at violet or purple, and then there's nothing in the blue range, and then the rest of the colors green through red are produced by the light source. Now how that works is that Soraa is using two different things to make this happen. So the first thing they're doing is they're using what's called a violet pump on the LED. So in most LED light sources, even if they look white, they're actually blue underneath, and then the coating, which is called a phosphor, takes that blue light and changes it to the other colors of light. So what Soraa is doing with their phosphor is they're actually using a violet pump. So it's a violet LED or a purple LED underneath. And then they're using a special phosphor that allows them to produce violet and then nothing in the blue range and then all the other colors. So, I hadn't seen anyone do this before. It's a pretty interesting technology. So in terms of the bulb itself, it feels nice. It feels well built. It's plastic and metal. It's got a weight to it. So I think that this would be fine unless you're going to use it in a lamp that is like a task lamp that if you put a heavy bulb in it, it would go like this. It would droop over time. It seems like a sturdy product. So let's screw it in, see what it looks like. I already measured the Soraa Healthy, but we'll test it here right now to see what it looks like. And it's true that the spectrum of the Soraa Healthy is what they say it is. It has that peak at violet or purple, nothing in the blue range, and then the rest of the colors. So they are being honest with that. The thing that I have a problem with this product is, the first thing that I have a problem with the product is that there's no blue, but there's actually a lot of green. There's more green than a lot of other light sources would have. So, when we actually measure the overall amount of blue and green light produced by this light source, it is certainly better than a regular light bulb. A normal incandescent light bulb might be around 300 to 360 mellanopic lumens, whereas the Soraa Healthy only has 186 mellanopic lumens. So it is significantly better than a regular light bulb. But the reason it's not 0 mellanopic lumens is because they pretty much eliminated the blue, but they kept a lot of the green in there. And it seems like there's more green in this product. Now, that extra green also has an interesting effect when you use this product in person. So the color temperature of the light is about 3000 Kelvin. I measured it as 2934. And 3000 Kelvin is roughly the exact color of halogen lighting. But the CRI, which is the color rendering index of this light source, it's only 74. Now, to give you a reference, like a lot of fluorescent lighting and a lot of LED lighting these days is 80 or higher CRI. So a CRI in the 70s is not so great. There's another metric that I measured called R9, and R9 is the red value, and humans tend to prefer lighting with a lot of red in it, and a lot of LED lighting doesn't have a lot of red in it. The R9 actually came out to 70 in this light source, which is quite good, and I'm surprised. But overall, this light has a very green tint to it, and I'm just not happy with the quality of light of it. There's another color rendering metric called TM30, and the RF score was really low. It's only 53, which is the lowest of all the lighting that I tested in this comparison. So, the quality of light leaves a lot to be desired with this light source. The other thing that's not good about the Soraa Healthy is that it has a lot of flicker. I tested the Soraa Healthy with my handheld spectrometer to have 38% flicker. Now, for reference, an incandescent light source has somewhere between 6 and 15% flicker depending on the power conditions. So to have 38% flicker is pretty high, and it just seems like, they're charging a lot for this light bulb, and, to call it the Soraa Healthy, it's supposed to be a healthy light bulb, but it has a lot of flicker, that's not healthy. So I wasn't super happy with the flicker or the color quality of this light source, despite the fact that I think that it's a pretty interesting technology and they could do a little work on it to make it better. So let's run through the rubric to see how it did. So in terms of appearance, I'm giving the Soraa Healthy a 3. The color quality is just not that good. It's a little too bright. It's got this weird green tinge to it, and it just really falls flat on the spectrophotometer metrics. The next thing is sleep promotion. the Soraa Healthy, I'm going to give it a 5 in terms of sleep promotion because, yes, it does have a lot less blue light than other light sources, but there's still a lot of green. And 186 melanopic lumens is definitely better than nothing, but it's not the best out of the light bulbs we're comparing here. The third category is flicker. Soraa Healthy has 38% flicker, which is not good. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. And for value, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It seems like a well-built product. I haven't really seen any reliability issues with this thing by looking at the reviews. But the honesty in marketing does have a way to go. And it's just got this weirdness of color. So, I think, you might prefer a regular light bulb over this thing actually over time. So adding up the scores, 3 for appearance, 5 for sleep promotion, 2 for flicker, and 6 for value. The total is 16 out of 40 for the Soraa Healthy. On to the next one. The second product I want to look at is the Lighting Science GoodNight light bulb. To my knowledge, this is the original low blue lighting product. It came out somewhere in the 2012 range, and this is at least the third generation of the product, and I've seen significant improvements in this product over time. So when you take it out of the box, one of the first things you notice is that it's pretty much like a regular cheap LED light bulb you would buy from Home Depot, the look and feel of it. The main exception being the yellow globe on the top of the bulb. On most light bulbs, LED light bulbs, there's a plastic diffuser that's like a white color, but in this product, it's a very yellow color. And my understanding of their technology is that they're actually using a pretty regular light source underneath, and then this filter on the top takes a lot of the blue and green light out of the product. So I used this the past few nights, and we'll plug it in now to see what it looks like. And the first thing you notice about it is that it has a very yellow tone to it. It's quite different from a regular light bulb at first, but it's about the same brightness as a regular light bulb, which is pretty important. But I found using it actually was relatively pleasant over time. The quality of light seemed pretty good. It was a nice warm color. In my opinion, a bit too bright, but it would be a good pick in terms of color quality if you needed a really bright light source. I would actually say this is the best really bright low blue light bulb out of all of them in this comparison. Now, looking at the metrics of the product, I measured it, and we'll measure it again. And the first thing you can see about the spectrum is that it has a very smooth curve, almost like incandescent, that smooth curve right up to the top. You can see that it's a blue pump LED. There's a spike somewhere around 450 nanometers, but they've done a very good job at filtering that out and creating a nice smooth spectrum. There is a significant amount of green light in this product, but it's not so relatively high like the Soraa Healthy product was. So I ran some metrics on the product, and the first thing is that the color temperature is around 2250, which is close to what they said in the specs at 2175. So this is quite a warm light bulb. Imagine like the color of a dim classic incandescent light bulb, but brighter. So it's like kind of this warm color. It's pretty nice. The second thing is that the CRI was measured to be 91. This is the color quality of the light source. And they said on their website and on Amazon that the CRI was 90 or greater. Now, is CRI 91 the best light source in the world? No, but it is better than most light sources. So they are using a slightly better LED in this product. And similarly, the R9 value, which is the red color rendering metric, is 57, and that's not the best, but that is certainly quite good when you compare to most LEDs that might have an R9 of like 5 or -10 or something like that. An R9 of 57 is pretty good as LEDs go. In terms of the TM30 color quality metrics, it did okay. RF was 82, so this is a very similar metric to CRI, but more descriptive. And the RG metric, which talks about saturation, was 85, which means the light is a little undersaturated, but it's not bad. I think it was a fine light source. It's certainly usable. Also wanted to look at the flicker of the light source, and I measured it to be less than 5%. So that's quite good. Whereas the Soraa Healthy had 38% flicker, which is a lot more than an incandescent light source, less than 5% flicker in the Soraa Healthy, in the Lighting Science GoodNight, means that it's actually better than an incandescent light source. So adding up the different metrics, the first one was appearance. I thought that the Lighting Science GoodNight was quite a good product. Not the best CRI, but pretty good, certainly more than passable. So I'm giving it an 8 in terms of appearance. In terms of sleep promotion, the Lighting Science GoodNight had 198 melanopic lumens, so it actually has a little bit more sleep disturbing blue and green light than the Soraa Healthy, but overall it's a much better package than the Soraa Healthy in terms of the color quality, the usability, the quality of light. So I'm going to give it the same score as the Soraa Healthy, which is a 5 in terms of sleep promotion. In terms of flicker, it's right up there with the best, almost no flicker, so it gets a 9 out of 10. And in terms of the value, this is where my score is a little different. Now, it certainly is a nice product, and it even comes with a 5-year warranty and everything like that. But I saw a lot of reviews on Amazon saying that they had failures of this product after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I also saw that some people would buy a 4-pack and some of the bulbs would not work right out of the gate. So that is something to look out for. And then people were getting the runaround from customer service on the 5-year warranty. So, I'm not 100% sure if this generation of the bulb has that problem. They may have fixed that, but it's hard to tell because on Amazon, they did not update their listing with a separate version for the new version of the product. So it's really hard to tell if the new product has the reliability issues that the old ones had. So adding all the scores up, we gave the Lighting Science GoodNight an 8 for appearance, 5 for sleep promotion, 9 for flicker, and 4 for value. The total score for the Lighting Science GoodNight is 26 out of 40. So that certainly makes it better than the Soraa Healthy, which is 16 out of 50. The third bulb I want to test is Bedtime Bulb. Full disclosure, this is my bulb. I designed it, had it manufactured, and currently sell it on Amazon and through our website. But I do want to compare it very objectively to the other products. So the first thing you'll notice about Bedtime Bulb is that unlike the other light bulbs that we're testing today, it has a glass finish and it doesn't have the plastic or metal base plus the plastic top. It's actually a full glass finish like a traditional light source. But we're not really comparing that in this review. So let's get right into the quality of light. The first thing you'll notice when you screw Bedtime Bulb in is that it has a nice warm color to it. It's warmer than incandescent, and it's a little dimmer than a 60-watt light bulb, which we did on purpose. We designed it to be a little dimmer to fit within your evening routine. It ends up being about as bright as a 40-watt light bulb, so it's good for most people. And certainly a little less bright, a little less intense for the evening than the others, so it helps to set that evening tone, evening mood. Measuring the color quality, we can see that Bedtime Bulb actually has relatively more blue and green light than the two products we just compared, at least in terms of the blue lights. So, you see more blue and green in the relative spectrum of Bedtime Bulb. But when you compare the products absolutely in terms of their brightness, remember I said that Bedtime Bulb is dimmer, whereas the other two products we tested so far are 600 lumens, Bedtime Bulb is 350 lumens, which is certainly bright enough for most people at night. But it really makes a difference in terms of the absolute amount of blue and green lights produced by the product. Because it turns out that while Soraa Healthy and Lighting Science produce 186 and 198 melanopic lumens respectively. Bedtime Bulb produces 147 only. So it is a lot better in the blue light category than those two products. Now, there is still some blue and green light, and the reason we left that in there is if you got rid of all of the blue and green, it would just be this ugly light source. You saw what happened with Soraa, where they removed all the blue, and it just like has this greenish tone to it. Well, you know, if you remove blue and green, it's got this weird yellowish, reddish, orange tone to it that most people don't like. Diving into the metrics, the rated color temperature of Bedtime Bulb is 2200 K, so roughly the same as the Lighting Science product. I measured this bulb to be 2290 K, so it's very close. I measured the CRI, the color rendering index, to be 97. That's one of the highest color rendering indexes that I've seen in a lighting product. I've seen very few light sources above 97, and they're all super expensive. Like, you wouldn't even imagine how expensive these products are. We rated at 95, but we do find that most of the products are testing a little higher than 95 CRI. The R9 value of 78 is also the highest that I've tested among these light bulbs. So you have a nice red color rendering, which people tend to prefer at night. RF is the TM30 color metric, 92. It's very high. And RG, which is the TM30 saturation metric, is 100, which means that Bedtime Bulb is neither desaturated or oversaturated. It's actually neutral saturation for all of the colors. So it's a very good quality of light. I tested the flicker of Bedtime Bulb, and it's less than 5%. So that makes it just as good as the Lighting Science GoodNight product, and among the best light bulbs in terms of flicker. It's one of the healthiest light bulbs you can buy. So running down the metrics for appearance, Bedtime Bulb gets a 10. I know lighting. I've been around lighting for a long time. I know that this is actually one of the best light bulbs that you can buy right now, just being totally objective. The second is sleep promotion. Bedtime Bulb gets a 7. It certainly has fewer melanopic lumens than the first two products we tested, Soraa and Lighting Science Group, GoodNight, but there is still some blue and green light. So it will have some circadian alerting effect, but overall it's the most practical of the ones we've tested so far for sleep because it has a very high color quality and looks good, and it's the right amount of light for reading, but it has the least amount of blue and green light so far. Flicker, it's among the best in the business, gets a 9 out of 10. And for value, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Just having sold several thousand of these light sources over the past year, we've had very, very few failures. And the ones that we do, the customers, they let us know. No questions asked almost. We send a new product right away. Just want to make sure everybody's happy. We're standing behind our 5-year warranty, which I've seen other manufacturers in this business not do, which really stinks when you're buying an expensive light bulb. I think we're very honest in our marketing. I don't think that we're over-exaggerating what this light bulb can do. And I think that overall, we built this thing to last a long time, to be very high quality, and, we're backing that up with our excellent customer service. So in terms of value, Bedtime Bulb gets an 8 out of 10. Adding them all up, for appearance, Bedtime Bulb gets a 10 out of 10. Sleep promotion, 7 out of 10. Flicker, 9 out of 10. And value, 8 out of 10, for a total of 34 out of 40, making it the highest so far. The fourth light bulb I want to show today is the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb. And what's interesting about this light bulb is it's a so-called amber light bulb. And you see a bunch of these on Amazon. There are a number of them. Some seem to have different quality issues, but this one was actually one of the most expensive amber light bulbs, and it had a lot of reviews, so I wanted to give it a shot. So the first thing you notice about the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb is that it feels like a pretty typical cheap LED plastic. It's fine, nothing special. Screwing it in, the first thing you notice is that the light is just so orange. It's like those street lights outside. That's how orange it is. And, that's kind of the benefit and the drawback of this product. So if we measure the product, we find that the spectrum has very little in terms of blue, and the green is pretty low too. And then it has a nice spike around yellow, orange, red. So it's pretty typical what you would expect from an amber light bulb. A lot of amber stuff that's actually amber will have this spike like this. Now, one thing that I found a little disconcerting was they actually showed two spectra on their Amazon listing, and the one was basically exactly what I measured, but the other one was narrower. So that wasn't 100% accurate, but not the biggest deal in the world. You kind of know what you're getting into with an amber light bulb. So the benefit of this product is that it has a relatively low amount of green light and pretty much nothing in blue, just only a little bit of light there. But where it really falls apart is the color quality. As I said, this thing's orange. It's like reading under one of those orange street lights. You literally, like when you're looking at a book, you can't even see the images. The colors don't look right. And the metrics totally back me up on this. The CRI is only 65. That's the worst that we've tested out of all of these. R9, the red rendering metric, is negative 47. That's like really bad. RF and RG are in the 60s. So this is not a good quality of light at all. So your trade-off is less blue, but much worse quality of light. But even looking back at the less blue thing, I plugged in the metrics, and I found that the melanopic lumens were still 114 melanopic lumens. Because again, if you look at that spectrum, there's relatively low amount of blue and green there, but there's still some, and it's a relatively bright light bulb. 114 melanopic lumens, the trade-off there is you get a slightly less sleep disturbance, but much worse color quality. Whereas with the bedtime bulb, you have, a little bit more in terms of melanopic lumens, 147 versus 114. But the color quality is the best, like one of the best light bulbs you could buy right now, versus one of the worst. And, there are other amber light bulbs on the market, and they're pretty much all going to be like this. And the final thing about this product is the flicker is also not good. I measured the flicker on this product as 29%. Not quite as bad as the Soraa. It's not the worst in terms of flicker out there, but it's certainly worse than an incandescent, which makes it less healthy than an incandescent light source. So adding up everything, in terms of appearance, the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb gets a 1 out of 10. In terms of sleep promotion, it gets a 9 out of 10. It's the best that we've tested today. But, with those trade-offs considered. Flicker, 2 out of 10. It's not the worst, but there's certainly way better LED light bulbs out there. And finally, value, 6 out of 10. I saw a few reviews that people said they had quality issues with this product, but it wasn't too many. So I'm going to give them most of the benefit of the doubt here. So I'm giving them a 6 out of 10. It feels like it's an okay product. It's certainly not the best quality, but it's fine. It's an okay light bulb with terrible color quality. The last light bulb I want to talk about today is the LOHAS LED Sleep Aid light bulb. Now, when you look at this product on Amazon, at first it seems really compelling. They're selling 2 of these light bulbs for the same price that you can buy 1 of the other light bulbs. So the other light bulbs, you get 1 bulb for between $15 and $20. This one is currently $14.59 for 2. So that seems like a pretty good deal, especially considering that these are pretty expensive light bulbs to begin with. But when you start looking at it, that's when things really break down. The first is, I've been watching this product since it came out sometime in 2018, I believe, and when it came out, it had something like 50 reviews, but it turns out that it was merged with another product, a bug light. So both the Sleep Aid light and the bug light were on the same listing, and almost all of the reviews were for the bug light, not for the Sleep Aid light. Only like 2 reviews were for the Sleep Aid light. So, I think people were getting tricked into thinking this was a decent product, but really there were like no reviews on this thing. And then they split the listing up, so there were only like 1 or 2 reviews on the product. But right now I'm looking at this thing and there are 0 reviews on the product. And as a result, when I bought this was actually one of the top sellers in the whole category, probably because it was a 2-pack and cheaper than the rest. But now that there are no reviews, I don't think anyone's buying it. So, when you look at the listing, that's when things start to fall apart further. First, it doesn't seem like it was written by an English speaker. There's a lot of weird grammar choices, a lot of grammar and spacing mistakes, and they're saying things like Blu-ray. They're talking about Blu-ray, and if you ask me, Blu-ray is the HD DVD competitor, not the blue light that's in LED light bulbs. I know what you're talking about, but it's not the right thing. You shouldn't be saying that. You can get in trouble for copyright and things like that. The next thing is that in the description, they say that it's an amber light bulb. So at first you might think, oh, it's like the SCS light bulb that we just tested where it's an orange light bulb. Okay, I get it. But their images don't look orange. They look like regular white lighting. And then they talk about in the description, no blue. They say it's a no blue light bulb. And then if you look at the picture, the second picture, it shows the spectrum of the light bulb, and it's just like the Soraa, where it has the purple spike, nothing in blue, and then the green through red. But then it's like, wait a minute, that is Soraa's image. They just copied Soraa's image and put their text and pictures over it. That's not cool. So I ignored this product for a while because I thought it was a total sham, but it was a top seller for a while it still had 2 reviews on it, so I decided to give it a shot just to see what it would be like. And the main thing I wanted to know is what is the spectrum of this thing. So when you screw it in, it looks like a regular LED light bulb. It's like a 2700K LED light bulb. But when you look at the spectrum, it's not the spectrum that they're showing. It's a regular light bulb. It's not the 0 blue spectrum. It has a lot of blue. It has a lot of green. It doesn't have any purple. It's not the same as Soraa spectrum. It's a lie. It's not no blue. It's a lie. And then, I tested the metrics. 2576 is the CCT, the color temperature, which is that's within range for a normal 2700K LED. The CRI is 83. Again, it's like a normal LED. R9 is 14, like a normal LED. And the TM30 numbers are like a normal LED. It's all like just a normal LED. And then I looked at the flicker. The flicker is really bad. It's 100%. I can actually see it right now looking at it. And when I wave my hand over the thing, I can see like individual images of my hand because the thing has such a high percentage of flicker. It's that bad. So, I wanted to see how much blue and green light this thing was producing, and I plugged in the spectrum and the lumens. It's 500 lumens, and it turns out it has 225 melanopic lumens. So, yes, is it a little bit better than a regular light bulb in terms of the blue and green light? Yes, because it's a little dimmer. It's 500 lumens instead of 600 to 800 lumens. But it's a regular light bulb. It's not a good value because, even when you're buying 2 of these, you're still getting a regular $1, like really cheap quality LED light bulb. You're not getting the interesting technologies that are going into the other products, the interesting, the marketing that all these other companies are having to do to justify a higher price for these other products. This is a regular light bulb and they're capitalizing on what the other people are doing. And trying to capture some of their sales because, those products are expensive. We can sell you 2 for the same price. It's a lie. It's a sham. Don't buy this product. But let's put it through the metrics just because. So appearance, 4. It's a regular LED light bulb. I don't need to say anything else about that. 4 out of 10. Sleep promotion, it's 2 out of 10. Is it slightly better than a regular light bulb? Yes, only because it's a little bit dimmer. but just buy a 40 watt equivalent LED if that's what you're after. Flicker, 1 out of 10. This is the worst flicker that you can get in a light bulb. Don't buy this thing. It's unhealthy. And it's making me nauseous just sitting in front of it. And finally, the value of this product. It gets a 1 out of 10. These people are liars. I don't care that you're getting 2 of these for the same price that you would get one of the other products. All of those other products are unique and interesting and have really interesting stories behind it. This thing is a lie. It's a regular, cheap, low quality $1 light bulb. So adding them all up, the LOHAS LED Sleep Aid bulb gets an 8 out of 40. So we just looked at 5 different light bulbs that claim to promote quality sleep. Now I want to recap and rank them in terms of worst to best. Coming in at the absolute worst is the LOHAS LED Sleep Aid light bulb. This thing gets an 8 out of 40. This thing is a regular $1 light bulb that they're selling for a 2-pack for $15. Don't buy it. Next is the Soraa Healthy, which gets a 16 out of 40. This thing has a very interesting technology with a violet pump and no blue, but it really falls short in terms of color quality. It's got a weird green tint to it. It has a lot of green light, which means that it's not helping your sleep as much as you would think, even though it is better than a regular bulb. And the flicker is bad. So just don't buy this thing right now. Wait until they fix the flicker issue at the very least. 16 out of 40. Next is the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb, which gets an 18 out of 40. While the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb has the lowest amount of blue and green light out of all the products on this list, it's still not 0. And I find that at the amount of blue and green light that you're getting, there's still too many trade-offs being made. The color quality of light is just terrible. It's an unusable light. You're not going to like it. You're going to go back to your regular lighting. It's not worth the price. And this goes for other amber light bulbs that are like this too. They're all like this. You're not going to like the quality of light. And plus the flicker leaves a bit to be desired. So 18 out of 40 is well deserved for the SCS Sleep Ready light bulb. Next is Lighting Science GoodNight, the original low blue LED light bulb. This thing has improved drastically over time. They fixed things like flicker, they fixed the color quality, and it's a pretty decent light bulb. It gets a 26 out of 40. It has a very good quality of light. It's a very usable light bulb. In my opinion, it's a bit too bright, but it could be a good solution for people who need a very bright source of light at night. So I think it's a pretty decent product, and the flicker is great now. Finally, Bedtime Bulb. Now, this is my product, as I said, but I did promise I would be objective, and objectively, this is a better light bulb, and that's why it deserves a 34 out of 40. The color quality is higher than any of the other light bulbs here. It's actually higher than pretty much any other light bulb you can buy right now. We're honest with our marketing. We have less blue and green light than all of the other products except for the SCS Sleep Ready, but we don't make the trade-offs that the Sleep Ready product makes. It's a good quality of light, high quality product, not a low quality of light product, and the flicker is basically non-existent. That's why it gets the highest score here. Now, I find that most people should try Bedtime Bulb, and if they find that it's not bright enough, which I think most people will be very pleasantly surprised that it is bright enough. If it's not bright enough, I would recommend going over to the Lighting Science GoodNight product. I think that will solve pretty much everybody's needs. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that there would be a giveaway. The giveaway is for 2 bedtime bulbs. 1 bedtime bulb for you, and 1 for someone you feel could really use bedtime bulb. The contest is open to US and Canada only, and we're okay if we have to ship the bedtime bulbs to different locations. Here's how to enter. The first thing to do is subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Second, click the like button on this YouTube video. Then third, in the comments section, write the first name of the person you want to give the light bulb to, and a short description of why you feel they deserve it. And fourth, the final step, is to go to the link in the description and fill out your contact details so we can contact you if you win the contest. This contest is no strings attached, we don't share your information, and we'll even ask you if you want to sign up for our newsletter or not. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was enlightening. I put links to all the products I mentioned in this video in the description so you can compare them for yourself. Have a great day.